JDXL versus Bifrost, two teams that are looking for victories after what happened on Monday. So we're looking at the top of the standings, fighting it off for revenge. I didn't tell you? Oh, didn't you see the game of the week? Oh,
You didn't tell us.
it
Now
was
you
the
did.
game of the week, and JDXL got demolished. I
Yes.
think that's the word, yeah.
Is the
Demolished.
kind word.
But the thing is, the last time that these two teams played as well, honestly, Bifrost got a bit demolished. And that, for me, was entirely through draft. As far as I remember, it was the Yasuo Diana into the Vladimir Gwen solo lanes. Vladimir for M&S is one game on that champion. Diana would try to gank. Two untargetable champions, can't use the E on them, and then eventually just got to the point where they'd all in and they get turned around on. So JDXL had a really good read for that game. Sadly, the same could not be said of the draft against X7. I think both coaches in the post-game interviews had really in-depth thoughts on the way that played out and how some small issues in-game snowballed into huge amounts. But for me, XL, I would call that a blip on the radar for the rest of how they've been playing. But between these two teams, at least, Bifrost have to prove something again, much like X7 proved against XL.
Yeah.
And also Bifrost are right behind them in the standings, right? JDXL have one more win than them. If they can manage to even this out, then Bifrost is also on the same footing with them, and they can actually chase X7, which is at the top of the standings right now. So this is a huge, huge, huge game for both of them. JDXL can pull 2 games away from Bifrost, or Bifrost can even things out completely. And honestly, I really love the fact that you brought back the Vladimir point, because I'm thinking if this is something that that Bifrost will have at the back of their minds, right? Do they need to be wary of that? Because M&S can bring it back out. And yes, even though he's played 10 unique champions in 10 games, we saw that in the previous game he had to bring
Double
out
up for once, yep.
He had to double up for once. And right now they're playing against the team that has pulled out a victory from X7 that has beat JDXL twice. So they actually know what they're doing against X7, while JDXL have not been able to make it work. So my question here is, does M&S bring out yet another unique champion? Because I think versus X7 and Bifrost, you might have to double up.
Ari.
He's going for the LeBlanc. He's going for the LeBlanc. I have inside information.
Time?
I have inside
but
information.
But could I?
Zeri though.
Yes, so this is...
Tell me.
I'm fairly sure that Zamalek, before the Ezreal game on Monday, had only played 3 AD carries. It was mostly the Varus, and then one less game on the Jhin, and then one game on the Caitlyn, pulled out the Ezreal. So this is a new AD carry for them. On the other side, though, I mean, this Volibear is something that was first picked by JDXL for the longest time, the last like two weeks or so. Playing that with a very strong early game bot lane. If you're trying to 3v3 into the Caitlyn, like we saw like a little bit earlier, we saw how important that is with the Caitlyn lane. Volibear is going to really tip the scales in that one.
But this is most likely going to be M&S with his 11th unique champion of the game, because the Jig's been picked down here. Means that you get a bunch of clear as well. So I feel like in terms of clear, Caitlyn does match Jinx. It's all up to the support, like we mentioned in the previous matchup as well. It's about what enchanter are you going to choose to put next to Caitlyn, and what are you going to try to counter with the Karma. Now, of course, we saw the exact same matchup. If the Lux gets locked in here for duel, we saw the exact same matchup. It was pretty even until the Caitlyn lane didn't get punished enough and kind of run away with the laning phase.
So, for me, now I mean, there is obviously the chance that M&S picks up the Zeri themselves. It's the chance it goes top lane as well. You have to pick one of your lanes, and that means that, of course, like, if you pick a champion which the Zeri can survive into, that's more than fine. Now, this was something which XL's main roster did in the LEC, because NukeDuck put it into the mid lane. It was an early pick, and then they picked up an Aphelios to be, okay, now we have double AD carries. Doesn't matter that Zeri isn't as good at team fighting as something like a Jinx, something like a Caitlyn in this case, too, because you have the 2 AD carries, you got twice as many guns to bring to bear. And then the other team has a bear to bring to bear.
And they finally stole away from
And then the other team brings a bear.
So Don has been using the bear non-stop. Where can he fall back now into?
I'm just really surprised that the Zinzao has gone completely unnoticed in the entirety of the draft right here. And if Bifrost do not choose to ban it away, I'm assuming Dan, I think it's a pretty easy lock-in for Dan right here, because he does his job. He provides a bunch of security for both of his AD carries at this point. He's got the Karma Seals to last a little bit longer. I would honestly be really surprised, but I think Javan also poses a big threat to that Caitlyn lane towards the bottom of the map, because he can produce these level 2 ganks that you really like to see.
there's always the outside chance of something like a Lee Sin as well. Depends where. For me, like I said, it does come down to this 3v3 in the bot side. I think that any of the champions we just mentioned there can help you in that regard. You got a Jinx Calm, you got a heavy push, you got enough damage. You need something to pin people in place. Xin Zhao's probably the one to go towards on that point. The thing with like having the Caitlyn with the Nautilus though, and not going towards the Lux, that to me, so this is the thing which there's some great examples of a lot of the Chinese teams, the LPL teams playing like this Worlds, where if you have an enchanter like the Karma into an engaged support, you need to have your jungle path towards your engaged support lane to kind of set up those early kills and just force that enchanter into the dirt. Because as you were saying in the Caitlyn Lux game, if an enchanter lane falls behind, they are so less valuable. I'm really looking to see Bifrost beeline towards the bot side of the map.
Yeah. And Bifrost will beeline towards the bot side of the map because it's just locked in the Rise, which is a champion that perma gains priority mid lane and instantly goes into Fog of War. So even if he actually chooses to play through a side lane with his ultimate or his teleport, the fact that he goes into Fog of War forces you to take a step back, which is very important.
Okay.
Are we running it down?
Okay.
I mean, a lane, not in a bad way, not in a bad way.
I'm fairly sure on 12-4, Nunu got nerfs because they were getting a little oppressive across the place, but I need to remind you that AP Nunu mid does technically exist, and you know you're talking about priority. You can get almost instant wave priority with Nunu mid because your E, you can roll it over the minions, then pop it for double damage. There's the outside chance that it's Nunu mid, most likely jungle, but just keep that in your minds.
Okay, this has to be Nunu jungle.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Fine.
Let me talk about my niche and then it's taken away from me.
Okay, I think this is a JDXL that wants to flex their outskill muscles. This is a JDXL that wants to flex their individual skill and how much better they are than their opponent, because I find their draft much harder to execute and much more played on the details. Whilst on the other hand for Bifrost, they've got the very simple front to back composition to execute.
What I will say for those of you that haven't played against Nunu much or seen them, because let's be honest,
Give us your
plays that
life,
champion. The most powerful point in the game for Nunu is when you get scuttle crabs. You get that move speed, your snowball becomes that much more fast. You roll into the lanes so fast, and Kate Nautilus don't have a great way to get away from that. If you give up double scuttle versus this, expect to get just permaganked all the time in the game to get literally snowballed out of control.
Another spicy.
You've been on top with your pants, man, on this one.
I didn't even mean that one.
It's not even trying. It's trying to run away from them, but it's just appearing. I like this.
You were trying to little the bear. With the bear, you were trying to little.
When I talked with Dan on the interview, I was like, what counters Volibear if you think he's so OP? And he told me, I have something really special to bring to you if they pick Volibear. Whoever picks Volibear, I'm going to destroy him. Is this it?
I'd love to see it.
I don't necessarily think that he picked the Nunu to destroy the Volibear, but if
destroys the lanes.
But if you put Rise behind, which gives perma prior to the Volibear, I think then you sort of put behind the Volibear as well.
So it's time. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be exciting nonetheless. It is Nunu jungle. Run it down, and I'm running into the caster's desk. How are you doing, guys?
Good. I hope I don't physically run into the caster's desk. That's going to hurt, mate. Nunu jungle.
I love it. I love it. It's brilliant. We were looking around and I'm surprised he didn't trip. We have quite a lot of wires.
I know. I was a bit worried there. I genuinely thought he was going to rugby tackle me for a very brief moment there.
I've not been... that's probably the most scared I've been today, having Archer run towards me.
Praise Portuguese bearded man running at you, right?
Let's talk about the Nunu again, because Naimera did raise a very good point as well, and that is the Nunu W, the move snowball itself. The movement speed you get from that is about the base movement speed you have when you start the W. So that means if you're standing on top of the extra movement speed from the scuttle, you go faster. If you're coming out with home guards, you go faster. If you start with a Karma shield, you go faster. So it's all about this extra applicable movement speed you can get on the character itself. Now, where do I start with this? I have no idea, because I kind of want to let JDXL take it away. They do still have a kind of front to back composition, because you got 2 AD carries, you got an enchanter, and you got 2 frontliners.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right?
Yes.
I hate being mid lane versus Nunu.
Yes.
Because he's constantly ganking, and he always just goes through mid on the way. You might as well.
It's a very unorthodox ganking that comes out from a Nunu, and therefore you need to change up your vision control as well, because having vision just around where they're standing right now is not good enough. You need to have topside vision, or river vision rather. As they're looking for some intel here in the early game. I assume they're going to be dropping a ward. Nope, they're actually not.
Interesting.
Very interesting indeed. Yes. And on the other side of the map, Bifrost not looking to get some early vision themselves. We could have seen C-Boy walk up, find some deeper vision. That wasn't the case. We've seen Shikari go for it instead, and now they have vision around where the Nunu is going to be starting. So that is key, knowing where the enemy jungler is so you can track him in the early game so there's no... Oh, he doesn't actually spot the ward either.
Yeah. So here's the next question, because we talked a bit about the Nunu. Zeri mid.
We've seen it before. We've seen in the NLC as well. We've seen Nuke Dog play it. Not to the greatest extent, but it is something that messes up, I guess, the other side of the lane, keeping that flex. I'm actually surprised they didn't hold on to the flex longer. I think if you wanted to go for a jug... I mean, I was surprised until I saw the Nunu, because what I think quite often when you have a flex is that you want to save it for the second ban phase to make matters even worse in terms of what champions you're banning out. What I was also very surprised to see was Caitlyn paired up with Nautilus, because now you just lose priority in lane because you're against Doppel, ranged, with Nautilus who essentially can't lane until he gets level 3 and try to find some pick. And by the time he's quite often pushed back by an enemy enchanter like the Karma.
And like the thing as well is Caitlyn wants to win lane. That's kind of what she does. She's a lane bully. She becomes great later, but like really wants to win that lane as a Shikari. And Shikari going for a toe-to-toe fight here. Kryze is going to hit that level 2, and now Shikari going to get bopped a little bit.
Still, lane control fairly even between the two of them, but Shikari should be in control. He is the one playing with range. He is the one who's going to be getting some HP as well from going Mecha. And both junglers right now are pathing down towards the bottom side of the map. So I'm not suspecting we're going to be getting any early shenanigans up towards the top side of the map. No, rather, it's probably going to be about this bot side. And I wonder what they're going to be looking for, because Dan, he can with the snowball try and look for a gank, whereas C-Boy can do the same, but I think he's going to be more of a shadowing role, trying to stabilize his Caitlyn down here.
Just looking at the lane states though, it's going to be pretty hard for Dan to find a gank, because you can see Bifrost pushed in the bot lane, mid lane's getting pushed in. Top lane is genuinely the best place for him to gank at this point in the game, just because Shikari able to push, and Kryze will be playing weak side. And Nunu's good with weak side laners, because they're always pushed under the tower. Nunu wants you overextended because it's very easy for him to hit you.
Okay, now C-Boy taking care of this Rift Scuttler is actually very important, just because, again, I want to reiterate, if you start your W as Nunu on the Rift Scuttler with the movement speed, your W is just going to be even faster when you zoom into a lane. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Odie as well, because we were talking about him at the start of this week. He actually has the best laning stats of our AD carries. He has the best CS difference at 14 minutes into the game. So shutting him down in the laning phase, specifically on a pick like Caitlyn, like you just mentioned yourself, where you want to take control, you want to get plating, you want to rotate it around the map with a priority, is essential. Fury, though, kill pressure.
Almost landed that overload. That would have potentially been enough, or at least enough to force the flash out. And they're able to get out, though, from any real threat. As look who's standing on
he's standing on it right now.
Shrine. Fury's low. If he wants to start this snowball, he can do so. But they spotted out by the Gnar, making his way over. Fury now having to play with a little bit of respect, but he's coming in. It's the biggest snowball ever, and the flash comes out from Fury.
You said it yourself, you spot it, but if you're not used to playing against a Nunu, you're not used to how fast he's actually going to be coming into your lane, just like that. Forces the flash off the Royce, and Hitbrain, you were talking about how annoying it is as a mid laner. Let's talk about this bot lane instead.
That's a nice hook. Already Zamulek's ignited. He's going so low. He's not going to burn to death. 19 HP. Woo! That was close.
But they finally take control of the lane, and that was that level 3 we talked about with the Nautilus. You get poked down, once you hit that level 3, that's where you can strike. Paired up with a Caitlyn, with the trap, with the auto attacks that root you as well. Brilliant chain of events there. They push in the wave and deny Zamulek some good amount of gold and experience at the same time.
Yeah, that's really big for them. Lovely pick from Joel. And this is kind of what you're hitting on. When you do hit that level 3 mark, there is a lot of damage, a lot of kill pressure that can come out from this lane. It's just getting up to that 3.
Exactly.
It's always going to be the hard bit. And, you know, Zamulek was able to pick up an advantage in lane, but now he's down in farm because of this. So make his life a little bit harder as Dan's just going to be picking up the chickens. Nunu, still a very fast clearer of the jungle.
Of course he is. And remember, once again, as I wanted to talk about, you mentioned it, as a mid laner, no flash right now. He can never be overstepped. He can never be hitting the enemy tower, because if Dan's come around with a snowball, he can just realistically speaking come from the tower range. Like, he can come from the mid lane itself. He doesn't have to come from a bush. He just need to be able to land that snowball.
One thing I'm really loving is actually the warding from Bifrost. If you look down towards the bottom side, they're placing these wards along the river. Because Nunu's not a traditional ganker. He just bolts in from the river. So you place some vision down, and you deny him so hard. Kick is probably not under any real kill threat here, although C-Boy is coming over. Dan's in the area, and C-Boy now actually might find himself in a bit of trouble.
No flash from
Zamulek. The Nunu. Zamulek, like you said, no flash available. Lands the zap onto C-Boy, but They're able to get out as MNES actually also making their way over, eats the hook, and Odie can now place the trap down. MNES going to pop the ultimate to try and stay alive as Zap goes a little bit wide. Bifrost not going to be able to find their pick.
But Bifrost in control for sure here. It seems like it's always JDXL on the back foot here, just struggling to pick up these waves. And just because Samulek missed out on the summoner spells in the skirmish beforehand in the bottom lane, they need to forfeit their fight. And because of this, with the priority, C-Boy, he's able to nail up the Drake. They're able to push in the mid lane with Fury, and they should be able to put Odie back in bot lane as well to keep the pressure going for this Bifrost.
All right, well. What?
Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. Exactly. I'm learning, Gulborg.
Okay, so I was just having a look. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
For
it.
context, because people are going to be wondering what I was doing. I was looking up Zeri's ability names because I've forgotten them. / never learnt them.
I was like, is he texting someone right now? What's going on?
I've had to whip Google out
I was
on my
holding
phone.
the point for quite a bit. I was building up. I was like, are you done now?
Nope.
Okay, I'll pick it up once again. Let's have a look at the map state once again, shall we? While my partner in crime is having a look at Seri ability. So, blue buff has been donated over. Fury, still no flash, but have not been punished yet either. And it's surely something you would love to see. The Nunu with the snowball, he's actually, look at the build. Look at the build of the Dan right now. Look at that. That is sock pen boots. That is an amplifying tone being built. That is an AP Nunu, ladies and gentlemen. It is not just your standard state-of-the-art with Kim Tank.
I think this is the Night Harvester build. I've played into this, and it's awful. You get hit by that snowball, and you're like, oh, cool, I just lose my health bar. Fine, that's whatever. I assume we'll see a Hextech
so
alternator
finicky
coming
at JDXL. First, we saw the Vi come out from Dan. Then the Volibear, which is a bit more meta, granted,
Yeah,
but they were one of the first who pulled it out. And now, the Nunu instead, Empire.
C-Boy gonna get himself caught out by the paper trail as they're chasing in, gonna lock him in place, and MNES pops the ultimate. The slow, it's absolute zero. C-Boy gets the shield off, but MNES can just get a little bit closer now, slowed down by Kickers, and it's first blood to XL.
Eminus gets a kill for himself to his collection there. It's not a solo kill to his archive of kills, but it's definitely a double buff he'll be happy about. Down towards the bottom side of the map, Samulek was forfeited this minion wave, and Odie and Joel once again has taken complete control over that. But let's have a look at it once again, shall we? C-Boy just not holding onto that flash a little too long, so the tether from Kickis does land with the root, and Kickis once again finding a nice Q here to just land the slow for MNS to pick up the kill for himself.
Yeah, lovely little inner flame there.
Was that like a little subtle, this is what we call, don't call it a karma Q thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So
Yeah,
what is
well, I've
Zeri's
forgotten
abilities
Zeri's
called?
ability, so I needed to kind of sound like I knew what I was doing
Oh, okay,
somewhat.
fair enough.
Ooh! Nice little hook, just forces the flash out from Kickis. Is going to land the snare.
No, not stay yet. Samulek ignited.
Yeah, Zamulek now getting turned onto. Odie has got that ace in the hole. They're realm warping in. Kickis won't eat anything, and they're just going to look for the kill. The rocket not going to do enough for C-Boy, taking tower shot. Just about able to survive. A double kill for Odie.
Another favorable skirmish from Bifrost, and it's once again coming for that bot lane. 2-0 on the Caitlyn. We were talking about this lane. We needed to see the priority come through, and 10 minutes into the game, 9:40, it has. Eminence in the mid lane.
Oh, they got Rift
trying
Herald.
to open it up, and as you said yourself, they have the Rift Herald. They should be open, able
tower
rather
dead?
to open the first one here, and yes, they should just be dead.
If this plate goes down, this tower's absolutely
Yes,
dead.
it's
Yep,
dead.
there
Jake,
it is.
it's dead. It's
Thank you.
dead.
I can see that.
Well, it's
gone.
dead.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're
I'm
welcome.
now aware. Cheers.
Good.
God, I can't wait to switch out on America.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to get back on the analyst desk.
Let's have a look at this fight.
Oh yeah, shall we? Because it's Samulek getting a bit too aggressive here. I don't understand why they're moving up in the minion wave. They didn't have the mid lane priority either, but you can see as soon as the bot lane skirmish happened, MNS is actually just spamming assistant pings. Dan is making his way towards bot lane, but MNS just like, nope, you're coming mid, we're opening up this turret, and we're getting some gold for me.
And I mean,
That's
like,
what they did.
Look at the build. We're getting pretty close towards that Trinity Force as well on M&S. So, attack speed boots, half burn axe, sheen, and that Cole crashing in. Next wave, going to be able to cash in on that as well. That might just be enough to get that Triforce.
Do you know what MNS' favorite shop is?
If you're going to say M&S, that's how I remember how to pronounce the name.
Oh, is it now?
Genuinely, the first time I casted them, I wrote down an M&S.
Okay,
as the
great,
shop.
brilliant. Okay, well, my joke won't land then, but
No.
yeah, thank you.
Hey man, I've got a history of mispronouncing names. I need to find ways to write
Oh
it
yeah,
down
I mean,
phonetically.
you should look back at Monday games.
And my Tuesday, and my Wednesday, yeah.
It's unfair, man. We should just have their names on Wikipedia for them for you to just kind of reminisce on them instead.
Maybe people should write their names properly.
Oh, don't make this a that thing. Like, no, you're not that ignorant. We're not. Now, anyways, back to the game as well. You can see they're actually moving out their troops from the side of JDXL. They pushed in a long lane in mid lane. And now, M&S, Dan, they're moving down to the bottom lane as a unit, trying to see if they can catch someone who's just a little overextended. Does not seem to be the case. And I wonder, are they just going to be giving this one over to M&S? Yes, they exactly are.
Looks like they're not willing to completely give up on this dragon. Actually, it might be Odie. A great hook flash from Joel. They can use the absolute zero to get everybody slowed down. That's a lot of damage. The Rockets comes in, and M&S able to cash out on the kill. They find the slow. Maybe time for a bit of parkour from M&S. Not going to be able to get over the wall in time. And Joel looks for the hook. Gonna miss it. And JDXL trade out jungler for jungler. Nobody gets the dragon.
Yeah, not only that, up towards the top side as well, there was a little skirmish. Shikari, he was forced to flash away. So now, with no TP advantage from the side of JDXL, they still have to be a little bit wary, but M&S, he secured the bot side perimeter. Samalek pushing in the mid lane, and with Dan respawning, it looks like they're just going to be continuing. It is only 12 minutes into the game, and they're going to be trying to get more plates onto M&S. I wonder, can we toggle the gold right now just to see how far ahead he actually is?
Oh,
6k gold lead. The closest one is Odie at 5.1 himself. So clearly a catalyst once again in the mid lane from JDXL.
That's not any mid laner. That's Eminem. I've messed the joke up, don't worry. All right, back to the action. Joel hooks away to safety and limps away with a low health bar.
Yeah, they can still look for this one though, but M&S, he's just gonna procure away on the roller skates, securing against the priority. Seaboy is around the area, but it's difficult for them to walk in here though. I say that. Seaboy drops the pink ward. They can look to contest this. Fury does have that teleport, but 14 minutes into the game, it's still not unleashed. And it looks like Dan, he's just going to be able to pick up this Cloud Soul, or Cloud Drake, rather. Not Soul yet.
A little ahead of yourself, homie.
Oh, yes. 10 minutes.
Infernal Soul, actually. It is hard, though, to try and contest any objective when you've got a Nunu. It's the old classic, a bit like a Cho'Gath. You got the Feast, you got the Smite. Makes it very hard to actually deal with Nunu when he gets onto these objectives. I don't see how you outburst it if you are Bifrost. And we've had a bit of a lane swap. M&S now in the bot lane. Odie trying to kind of hold on, but they've already swapped Zamulek into the mid lane. It was having a pretty rough go of it. And this should just buy a bit of space and a bit of time for Zamulek to finish up his items. Because, I mean, taking a look at the items, Gale forced to Noon Quiver.
Yeah, and I wonder how they're going to be moving around the map now, once again, because M&S, he's kind of just like bouncing back from these lanes, moving around to the different sides of the map with the movement speed. Beforehand, he picked up the red buff from Dan. This time around, he's going to be picking up the blue buff. Literally any resource on the map has M&S' name written on it at the moment. And with this rotation, with Shikari backing, who's going to respond right now to M&S? Because no one's actually making their way up towards the top side. So if they use this advantage right now to get some deep vision, they could just be looking for that top side turret.
Well, they're going to bring up the snowball, but no one is about. M&S now with the Triforce will actually shred through towers given the opportunity. So it's something you got to be really careful of. Triforce, still an amazing item for taking towers thanks to that sheen or the attack speed. Also, M&S almost got the Hurricane finished up, and this is what I'm talking about. Give him one wave of some time on the tower, he's going to be able to half health it just like that. Yeah, Dan is waiting though. Shikari needs to be careful.
Shikari's not getting any help up here. He doesn't have the flash from the earlier skirmish, and they're just going to go for this one.
Yeah, M&S did take 3 tower shots to start it out, and Shikari's about to gnaw out. Another tower shot onto M&S as a bad tower juggle is going to cost XL everything here. Dan just about gets out, and now M&S is going to look for Shikari. Just shoots him down underneath the tower, just like that.
JDXL, as clean as you like it with that topside dive.
I ain't sure about that one,
turret, they get the kill, did they get out with both members alive? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, like, it went better than it should have.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. And it's only because they failed the tower juggle. Let's have a... No, we're having a bot side instead.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, Christ. On the weak side duty, the map is being, or they are committing their resources up towards the top side of the map, so Kryze kind of just has to forfeit this turret. It's a thing we see a lot of top laners not being willing to do, and it's a realm where we have to respect. Even if you don't see Ryze on Vision, expect he's coming down towards you in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Tier 2 did full draw in the middle of that replay. M&S able to take top lane tier 2. So really nice pick up there for them on that. It's going to inject a lot more gold to the Zeri. Now got the Hydra and the Hurricane off the back of that base and that kill. So, you know, we might have taken a little bit of a dump on that tower dive, but it gave a lot of gold to their mid laner, and he's exceptionally fed. They still got time to take his Rift Herald as well. A lot of towers have already gone down in favor of XL. The gold lead not entirely reflecting of that.
It is really not, but once again, I think a lot of the gold is sitting in M&S right now. So whenever he's moving around,
oh my word,
that is the side you're playing for. Yeah, you can just see it right now, because your solo laners or your other solo laners sitting at 5k, your AD carry sitting at 5k. You're realistically speaking behind on the other fronts of the map, except if we don't count the jungle. So you're really just moving around with M&S the whole time. And now that you picked up a Herald for yourself, he's sitting at 2 items as well, and he's once again just getting fed these resources. He is level 12, the same as Fury, and honestly, Fury is holding up well on this rise. We keep talking a lot about M&S, but every time there's a movement on the map from M&S, Fury is making a response with a Realm Mob on the other side of the map. So both teams are actually staying quite even against each other in this, despite the gold lead for JDXL.
It's also a crown build on the
just
Nunu.
Drive in there, not be afraid to take damage for the first few seconds. Seems like the Fury.
Really like that, yeah. I think it's a really nice build. I've seen the Night Harvester and it hurts, but this one's probably actually a smarter one now. I see this one.
Are you bringing out the Vin Diesel jokes for the family when he's drifting in there as well?
No.
Oh, it's a different meme period.
I've taken
the economy has changed.
I've made some low jokes. I'm not going that low.
Okay, well, speaking of low, down towards the bot side of the map, Bifrost, Fury.
I don't know why that got me. Oh, what a pickup.
It's true.
I mean, yes, I know. That's why it worked. God damn it. Well, actually, let's take a stock of kind of the map right now, because Bifrost have really good control of the river.
Oh, yeah.
Kikis is trying to contest that vision, but oh my word, that was close. Meanwhile, Fury getting chunked out a little by M&S. He goes for a bit of parkour. Joel gonna plot the ultimate as the lightning crash is used by M&S. Now getting jumped onto by C-Boy. He's gonna ult. More parkour means M&S is out of there. Ace in the hole will almost do enough damage, but C-Boy is perma-slowed, and down goes pop goes the bear.
M&S with the skating, happy feet, ready for that one. Was that volley bear ultimate? They're still looking for Fury though. No flash to his name.
Word.
Dan lands it.
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Shut down for Kikis. And Dan able to jump out with the crabs.
Dan not even the one with the Trinity Force. He's still doing tons of damage. M&S though does have it. Shredding down that turret. Rift Herald still deployed. And they can look for a second tier turret here if they'd like to.
Yeah, they should be able to get this. M&S has got so much damage at this point. He's so fed on this Zeri. This tower will go down in a matter of seconds, followed up by that second dragon for JDXL. And Bifrost, it feels like, you know, we were saying the gold's close. It's now starting to crumble away from them. We're in, you know, that 20-minute mark almost.
We're just a 1k deficit for Bifrost. We're sitting at 4k out of nowhere. Just one clean team fighter. Man, M&S styling on them quite like he's making a fool out of them. He's running around circles with them. That movement speed, diving over walls. This champion, it's perfect for his playstyle.
Yeah, it's really seating him. It's also making up for the deficit that Zamelek is in at the moment, because Zamelek kind of needs a couple more items before they come online on the Jinx. And because they had a pretty rough laning phase, they're a little bit behind the curve compared to Odie.
Oh, look at that movement speed. He's so fast,
Odie! My word! That's a speedy Nunu. Joel's going to get locked in place, tries to hook away to safety. The Realm Warp to bring in backup is going to arrive, and it's actually got nobody on that train, but the hook lands onto M&S. It almost gets the damage onto Joel. Not enough, trapped under the tower. C-Boy's coming in. Shut down for the volley bear. Now it's all on Zamelek to try and turn it around. A rocket could be big here. As Shikari's onto the Frank. Going to force Zamelek to jump away. Ace in the hole, eaten by Kikis, and Kryze has teleported in to save the day.
But once again, Fury as well steps up for Bifrost. Find the pick on the right side near the wolves. C-Boy as well, finally finding M&S, who stepped too far forward. And just like that, you give them an inch in this game. They're going to be trying to make the full of it. Starting off the Baron. No jungler alive. No low HP bars. And Mechanol for Shikari in just a moment. This is looking dire for JDXL. How do they manage this situation?
It's going to have to be done so well. There's the flash. There's the Gnar. And there is the kill. Joel, we won't talk about that hook. But meanwhile, Kryze is trying to be a nuisance. The rocket it! Almost does it! It almost finds the kill onto C-Boy, but Baron Nashor over to Bifrost.
And just like that, Bifrost back in the game, still 1k deficit, but they will get priority back on towards this map with the Baron up minions. And let's have a look at that once again, because that is one speedy Nunu. He's so fast. Odie manages with the Gale Force, sidesteps it, and then M&S dodged so much damage. You can see it. He's seeing blood. He's seeing red. But in a moment, all he's going to be seeing is a hook from the Nautilus. And just like that, he gets rooted up. He gets chained on the trap. He gets slowed by the net. And C-Boy's ready to pick up and collect.
And Zamulek just doesn't have the damage to deal just to cut through the remaining lower health bars. And this rocket was almost massive. I don't think it would have stopped the Baron, but it would have been a nice injection of gold onto Zamulek, who is behind.
It definitely is, but they also know they just have every tool in their kit to turn. The Fat Kickers gets away with that one. Is almost getting away with murder, except it's getting away with your life. And the rocket, it comes close.
That could have been Odie
not
as
close
well.
enough. That could have been Odie's. That could have been 2 kills. We're not back into the action, Hitbrain.
Yes, we are. Stormbringer going to get used. MNES not going to overextend this time. Shikari miles away, gnawing out, so it's probably not going to be happening now. MNES just going to get the mid lane priority. No dragon spawning up yet. Duel.
X-Flash from
There's
Jewel.
the X-Flash. MNES.
Ooh, it's so close. Just catches that one. He skates away.
That was
The devil
so
on
close.
rollerblades.
Devil on rollerblades. Love it. Shikari should be able to take this tower. Cry's not going to be able to do too much about that one, unfortunately. So Bifrost will get their second tower of the game. Both of those are on the top side.
And it's 40 to 40k gold right now. Just a little bit still in favor. They're just going to be realm warping the minion waves forward here. They're going to be cheating the tempo a little bit, syncing up the waves while Shikari is attacking that bot side. Cries just forced to disengage it, engage it rather.
Shikari about to gnaw out. Can he get it in time? He's going to be able to jump away with the hop, skip, and a jump out to safety. And XL, they used a fair amount there, but not too much. Dan, can he find the snowball? That's the big one. Those traps are going to be really strong for denying, though.
They are definitely, but it seems like they're getting back with this priority. Shikari no longer in a side lane, demanding attention from JDXL. So Bifrost forced to back off just a little bit, but Dan, he's keeping the speeder down.
Yeah, he's trying to get onto Joel for the moment. MNES has popped the ultimate. They're going to find this kill. Joel able to jump out. The rocket is going to dunk it for Zamulek. And MNES tries to jump forward one more time. Zap's going to land, do a little bit of damage. But MNES still trying to pump it out here. Locked in place. Shikari joins up with the team. And XL find their one pick. They stop the Baron push for now. And they got a little bit of time before this dragon spawns.
That's the thing, right? Less than a minute before this next Drake spawns. That would be putting JDXL on Soul Poly as well. If they can get this, they're taking control of the mid lane, which essentially means they're taking control of the enemy jungle, which makes setting up for this next Drake easier. And despite Bifrost still, well, they actually just lost that Baron buff on that name. Means they're now forced to be put back in an even position in terms of getting control of this river. Drake is spawning in less than 10 seconds. The entirety of the river is in control of JDXL. 2 pink walls, they're going to be face checking now.
Yeah, they're going to be walking in with both those walls placed down. A little bit of a miscommunication on that one. The dragon should be secured as Joel's making his way in. Volibear's not going to get there in time. That's the dragon secured. And XL, they just need to get a clean escape. MNES going to force over the wall. And Dan did have to pop the flash to get away from the Volibear, but now Bifrost have the inside track on this mid lane tower, and they should be able to get the tier 2 for them.
Yeah, they traded for that one. Infernal Soul Point is still in favor of JDXL, and they've picked up 2 for themselves, which means 8% extra in the adaptive damage department for your side, which is brilliant when you already have a really fat mid laner on M&S on this area in the mid lane. So if you get caught off guard by anyone, he can speed over the wall and join the fight in an instant. That's not what you're looking for. So once again, slowing down the game a little bit from the side of Bifrost is pivotal to make sure that you're not overstepping your own boundaries to get caught off guard by your enemy.
And we are seeing Zamulek now 2 items in on the Jinx, just built that last Whisper, so building towards the LDR as well. 3-item Jinx, that's the key bit. That's when they start to come online, and Zamulek will be able to back up what M&S is doing, but the big difference is the extra range you'll get from the Jinx over M&S. He's very short range on that Zeri. 3,000 gold between the mid laners. 2,000 between the AD carries.
So playing just 1,000, junglers pretty much even, and the same goes for support, but it's the less relevant roles right now in this game, at least it feels like it. But once again, the names JDXL versus Bifrost. The expectations you have to, again, when you hear these two names, I think it's delivering this match.
I mean, it's been a hard week for XL. They obviously had to play X7, who are another top team. They lost to them for the second time. And then now they're playing versus Bifrost, the next team up in the lineup. Third place. They've had a pretty tough week as MNES going to try and get as much damage off on to Shikari, but not going to be able to find the kill. Shikari just teleports up to the top side of the map.
That's a teleport force before Baron spawns in 1 minute, so that is still something gained. MNES, he's going to be able to push out the bot side, create more pressure for his team. Someone has to respond to this, but that's someone on Bifrost. There's no one with teleport, so they can keep the pressure up. MNES, he's just going to be going for it. You're completely right, Jake.
I talked about the Triforce on the tower. He can absolutely shred through this. Isn't going to be able to do it as Fury makes his way over. And Odie's also in the area, but that was a lot of pressure, pulling Fury down, who doesn't have teleport as well. Like you're saying, Baron very, very soon.
Let's talk about Fury's build as well, because he does have that Frozen Heart, he does have that Thimble Winter. It's a classic Rise build we see where you don't get too much damage, but when you're playing against 2 AD carries, you get a lot of value for this build, being up in their face, up close and personal. Getting that Frozen Heart passive down is essential. Actually, they have 2 Frozen Hearts on their team. I'm not too sure that passive actually stacks. One of them probably should have been a Randium's Omen.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, they're just going to start up the Baron. Look at that. It's actually some decent amount of damage from Dan here as well. And there's no vision on it.
Once the Jinx gets here, this Baron is just going to get melted. Kikis is just on zone injury. Big thing is, Shikari's about to Nara out. If he can get inside this pit, he can be a real nuisance. He can do so much work for the side of Bifrost. The post coming in, the Realm Warp's going to bring a couple of members forward. Shikari's trying to jump in forwards. Shikari about to lose that Gnar. They find the knockout, they find the hook. A great stopwatch comes in.
Oh, look at Kreis!
There's the barrel. There's Shikari with a massive Gnar. Kreis now trying to buy a bit of space.
Rocket!
The rocket is going to land. The belly bop to follow. Odie is chunked out oh so hard. But Fury is bouncing the damage forwards. But JDXL, they have come alive. And Bifrost are just wiped from the rift.
The thing is, they did see Kreis initially before that play came in, but they completely forgot about him as soon as they realm warped in. MNES still not done looking for Fury. Don't think he'll be picking it up. But completely insane and beautiful flank coming out from the JDXL top laner. Completely scattering Bifrost, knocking the carries into their face. Easy cleanup for JDXL. They pick up the mid lane turret, they pick up the fight, and they will pick up the Baron.
Absolutely flawless fight from JDXL. Kreis may have died, but he did so much work for the team.
You know what make matters was there's 50 seconds rather, for the Infernal Soul. So this game just becomes even more difficult, and they just forget about him completely. Odie's in prime position for it, and look at that cast. He's forced to flash in immediately. Shikari is forced to flash forward to disengage. Rocket comes through, completely forgets about it, and then once again, Kreis finds Odie. He sacrifices his life for it, but it's for the greater good, where they are able to clean up the fight.
Absolutely beautiful fight there from JDXL. And like you said, the Dragon spawning up fairly soon,
fast.
but we ain't done. The snowball's not going to land, but they do get slowed down over the wall by MNES. Big thing, 10 seconds until this Infernal comes up. Neither team has a full domination on the area. It's JDXL just trying to clear out some of this vision, clear out some of these wards. The Crab is actually going to get pushed slowly towards Bifrost, which means it should be theirs to take.
But there's no flashes right now, any of the carries, so if you Odie oversteps, if Fury oversteps, you're just going to be done for. So there comes Dan, disengages, engages.
Kreis spotted out on the pink ward. Isn't going to try and contest it. In they go. The Dragon's going to get stolen away. C-Boy makes the hero play.
And they
the
go
Realm Warp to get the team out. It's not going to be enough. Bifrost, they're in the slaughterhouse. A double kill for the Zeri, making a triple kill. Fury will fall, and MNES comes up with a quadra kill.
Beautiful stuff once again from JDXL, and Kreis, that cast completely scattered Bifrost. They thought they could get away with the Realm Warp, but Fury, he just gets hit by the edge of it. No one's able to teleport out of there. They all get demolished, and it should just be JDXL looking forward to push the base of Bifrost.
30 minutes on the clock, and XL, they just snapped their fingers in the last 5 minutes, came alive as they will take down Bifrost in style.
These games, they've just delivered today, and JDXL, it's a different experience watching this team. The Nunu, MNES, we have seen Seri in the mid lane before, but we don't see players like MNES just styling on the opponent like this guy does. He's a talent. He's someone to look out for. I don't give a damn. He's gonna be in high places very soon, this young mid laner.
I mean, I completely agree. M&S actually had an amazing game. And, it feels like every time we've had one of these segments, I'm like, yeah, but the support. But honestly, it's been a bit of a Gragas day as well. We've seen some incredible Gragas
some
today.
great weak side games come out from a lot of the Gragas today, and they're showing up at different points in the game. That's the beauty of this. Obviously, M&S is always that consistent factor.
Yeah.
But Kryze finding that flank, Dan finding the early game leverages, keeping the Caitlyn at bay as well, making it a bit more difficult. Like, it's great to see Bifrost, they put up a fight, but they just get scattered by the pressure that JDXL puts on the map.
Well, it's time for us to pay the bill, so we're going to throw it to some ads. We'll be back in a moment with our comments and interviews.
Welcome back. Every single game so far today has been amazing. You gotta admit it. You gotta admit it. NLC is great. The best CRL in the world. I'm just gonna say this. So JDXL taking over versus Bifrost. It was a close game for both sides, but JDXL bringing in Nunu versus the Volibear, bringing another champion for M&S, actually having Zamulek trying to steal the quadra kill away against M&S. Everything was really good from the JDXL. I know Turok is just smiling on his room right now after this victory, putting JDXL at second place of the standings for today. We still have to see what's going to happen afterwards on the X7 versus Nuriki, but so far JDXL are on second place isolated. Now for the interviews. I have with me on the JDXL side, the Solo Bolo King, Jimenez. How you doing? Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so you are the leader of solo kills and ERLs. How does it feel to bring so much pressure into the mid lane?
I don't know. I just played like solo queue.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the idea because I was thinking, oh, he's going to bring a big answer, like how does it feel to be on the mid lane? But no, you play like a solo queue, so the mentality is clean, you got it, and everybody talks about you as the king of mid lane. What is your career end goal? Like, what is your big objective as a League of Legends player?
To be honest, I aim to win EU Masters this split and make it into the LEC by the end of the year. I want to go to Worlds and I want to be like Lucky in LPL. Yeah, that is my career and goal.
Just to win worlds, okay? And tell me, this is a spicy one, but I think you got it. If you win worlds, you get a skin. For what champion would you love to get a skin just for you?
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc, yeah, I know it. Okay, last question. You guys lost versus X7 twice now. My question is, do you think if it was a best of 3, the result would be different?
I think a best of 3 would have been really competitive. Our last game was not a showing of what we can do. I believe we will better next time.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. JDXL has a lot as a team. The quality is huge. You got it all. The last game, something happened. It doesn't quite show the team that you have. MNS, thank you so much for another interview. It is a pleasure. I love see you play Zeri. It was really good. I'm just hoping one day I can get to see a Pantheon mid lane. I know he's bad, but it's my hope and dreams, okay? Thank you so much, MNS. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. And there you go. The solo bolo king himself talking about the mid lane. He looks at it like it's a solo queue. Easy as that. So if it was me on a mid lane, I would just mute all and play. I don't want to talk with nobody, so I don't know how he plays as if it was a solo king. On the other side, though, Bifrost, they've defeated X7 before. They are the team that put a dent on the perfect split of the X7 team when they brought in the Poppy as the jungler, just removing Haro from the game itself. And as soon as you remove Haro, the world champion, X7 start crumbling away, and they lost versus other teams, and now specifically versus JDXL. I don't know. Okay, I do know. I have with me the one and only top planet, the return of the king. Hello, Shikari.
Hello.
Hola. So everybody's talking as the cast is like, return of the king, return of the king, return of the king. What is the return of the king, Shikari?
I mean, I don't know. I think people are saying that because I've won a lot before, but at the moment, I don't feel like a king. I feel more like a challenger, you know? Like, yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Tell me something. I've been seeing a lot of Nars being picked on the NLC. What is up with that? Why is Nar being picked?
I think mostly it's because of Hullbreaker. A lot of Eastern tops are just spamming Hullbreaker every single game, and Nar is a champ that uses it really well. So I think that's the main reason why I'm seeing a lot more Nar. I mean, that's the reason why I picked it, at least.
If you could, would you nerf Hullbreaker?
Yeah. It's. I think it's really it's not very interactive. I would nerf it, but I guess it's a good way to make split pushes stronger, but I would nerf it.
Let's be honest. Top lane is It's a strange lane. I play top, so yeah. So you get AD carries on the top, you get Quins, you get Hullbreaker, you get like now supports with Smite. Why can't they just let us play as bruisers, like mainly champions, just going at it non-stop? I know you feel the same way, but okay. Now looking into your team, what do you feel is the strengths of Bifrost so far? Because you guys are at the top of the standings, you defeated X7. To you, what is the big strength of Bifrost?
Right now, I think it's just the individual level of all the players is for like NLC is very good. Like I feel like we can win against any team if we perform to our level. So right now, I would just say it's the individual strength mainly.
And now my last question for you, Shikari, today is, if you could rate the top 3 teams, where would you put like X7, JDXL, and your team, Bifrost?
This answer's really boring. I think I'd put X7 first, then XL, then us. I think we'll definitely be at the bottom because we're very inconsistent. But I think XL and X7 are very close, so it could be like they can swap places.
But you feel like you're getting close, right?
Yeah, I think we definitely have the potential to beat them. It's just about getting there and realizing it.
I love it. Thank you so much for the interview. The return of the king, I don't know, but I'm going to keep saying, man, thank you so much for the interview and good luck for the rest of the split, man.
Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure. See ya. There we go, the return of the king. We can finally meet him in person and see his face. I know a lot of you already met him, but this is my first time talking with him. It was a pleasure. But now we move on for the fourth game of the day. It's going to be Singularity versus Riddle. Will Nidalee be open? Will this be another MC Nidalee game? Will this be a Pop Nidalee game? Will the cat finally be closed? I don't know, but we'll soon find out after this quick break. I'll see you soon. Don't go anywhere.